Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The two clips that I'm going to show you right now is something that I feel everyone needs to see. Okay. There's one thing that I've noticed in America is that the left, they like to attack certain groups, but yet they stay quiet, complacent, and excuse me, they stay beholden to other groups that would like to see America and Christianity fall. Okay? And for whatever reason, we can put reasons behind it. Everybody's going to have a reason why. A lot of times when I do my videos, I try to show people things that are going on, and to remind people that what's going on is good against evil. Okay? There's no secret of what's going on in America, number one, when it comes to Christianity. Okay? There's no secret in America when it comes to trying to destroy the nuclear family. There's no secret in America when it comes to how the powers that be are trying to take the kids from people, trying to sexualize them. There's no secret in America how the powers that be use race, okay, and religion and other means to try and, like I said, bring down America, its people, Christianity, conservatism, and if you say something about it, right away you're deemed a homophobe, Islamophobe, xenophobe, whatever damn phobe they see fit. But with that being said, I'm going to show the two clips. I'm going to leave the link to one of them in the description so you can watch the whole entire video, which is almost 40 minutes long. Okay, I'm just going to show the beginning clip of it, put my thoughts into it, and then I'm going to show you how I came across this information, and then we'll close out the video. But before I do all that, I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App, my merch store, TrueOutlawPatriot.com. And if you can help out with donations in any way to the GoFundMe campaign that my friend is throwing for her and her husband, please do so, even if you just leave prayers on the page. So with all that being said, stay with me, people. Anybody and everybody that knows, especially all my new subscribers, you guys have been amazing. Okay, watching my content, really putting your 2 cents into it, you know, putting your thoughts into it. It's been amazing, for lack of a better term. Okay, I mean, if I'm saying it correctly, it's just been really amazing getting all this feedback, and everybody watching my content. So this video clip is a documentary. It's called "We Confronted Zealous Imams in America's Muslim City." Yeah, you heard that right. America's Muslim City. Here we go.
Islam is America's last hope.
What happens when Muslims take over an American city?
Everywhere where these radical Islamists have touched, what you get is chaos. You get violence. You get the subjugation of women.
So you don't think there's any issue in getting a 7-year-old to wear that kind of dress?
I don't think it's really a bad thing.
If you give full license to activist Muslims in America, these are the types of things that they're going to bring to America.
we visited America's only Muslim-dominated city to find out what has changed.
She had a store and there was a goat carcass one time in her dumpster.
Muslim parents don't want art and music for their children. That's discrimination.
How mosques are converting the local population.
Many African American Muslims regard Detroit as the Mecca of our Islam.
How liberals are reacting to the Muslim government.
I've been told by many people that they don't feel safe here anymore.
They were, flying Hamas flags, and we were like, okay.
You had people shouting, "Death to America." What do you think about that chant?
I think it's awesome.
How the Muslim vote could impact the presidential election.
The supporters of the Palestinian cause cannot choose who the next president will be, but they can oust the current president.
And we confronted imams over their past radical comments.
But the Iranian regime locks up political prisoners, it tortures people, and you've supported these people.
There is so much also misunderstanding about Iran.
Was that all lies?
My name is Stephen Edgington and I'm the US correspondent for GB News. Since Hamas's massacre of Jews on the 7th of October, the Muslim population in America has reacted with fury.
Well, they were killed by Hamas.
That's what's alleged.
In April, a pro-Palestine protest in Dearborn, Michigan went viral around the world after several Muslims were heard chanting. I went to Dearborn to speak with local Muslim leaders to understand their reaction to the war in Gaza.
Hello, Stephen. It's nice to meet you.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it for a quick second. Those snippets you've seen will be played in their entirety throughout the video. Okay? So before anybody says, "Oh, those are just snippets," you have to watch the whole video in order to understand the context going through that. And believe me when I tell you, it's exactly what it is. Okay? There's no getting around it. I find it so disheartening that people on the left can go and criticize so many people in America. They can go and criticize and mock so many Christians, and yet I knew about Dearborn, Michigan being infiltrated by Muslims. That was bound to happen because nobody pushed back. I didn't know about this other town in Michigan. Okay? There's only a few miles from Dearborn, which tells me that it's exactly what I've been calling it, and I've been calling it in other places around the world whenever I make videos. It's an occupation to take over the Western world. But let's listen to what this guy has to say. Here we go.
Just down the road here in Dearborn a few weeks ago, there was a protest, a rally to do with Gaza and Israel, and people were chanting "Death to America." Some people were, not everyone, but some people were.
There was one individual that said it.
There was at least one. I think there were several. But what do you make of that chant, and do you support its message?
No. So listen, I was born and raised in America, born and raised in New Jersey. I was born and raised on Dunkin' Donuts and Domino's Pizza, all the good stuff. Okay, and the reality is that I learned my religion in America. I would even go as far to say that the opportunities to learn Islam exist in ways here in America that it does not exist overseas. My real message is that Islam is America's last hope.
Okay, did you hear that? He asked them a question, and I'll replay it. And look at the way he skirts around from answering the question, which he basically gave his answer, which is death to America as we know it. Because their ideology is to overtake wherever they go and turn it, slowly but surely, turn it to what they want, which is an all-Muslim world. I'll play it again. Pay attention. I went too far. Here we go.
Chanting death to America. Some people were, not everyone, but some people were.
There was one individual that said it.
There was at least one. I think there were several. But what do you make of that chant, and do you support its message?
No. So listen, I was born and raised in America. Born and raised in New Jersey. I was born and raised on Dunkin' Donuts and Domino's Pizza, all the good stuff. Okay, and the reality is that I learned my religion in America. I would even go as far to say that the opportunities to learn Islam exist in ways here in America that it does not exist overseas. My real message is that Islam is America's last hope, okay?
I'll stop it again. You see, had he come out and say, no, I condemn what he said, death to America, no, it's like, basically, yeah, death to America. Because Islam is going to save America. In other words, Islam will take over America. There's a lot more. I'm going to play a little more, then I'm going to play the clip of where I got this information today. And mind you, this video is 9 days old. The other video is 8 days old. The guy that's doing the interview was on a news outlet. Where has anybody seen any of this on the mainstream media? Where are the American reporters speaking out against this? You're not going to find it, because I haven't found it. But let's continue.
Okay. Many of the thought leaders like Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali in the civil rights movement, what inspired them to move was Islam.
That is true, but here's the thing. Whereas Malcolm X's life was cut short, and I'll digress on that going down that whole rabbit hole, if anybody knows anything about that. But the thing with Muhammad Ali is that he always said he was an American. He put America first. He never sat down with America in order for it to be destroyed and Islam to take over. At least from what I know about watching interviews and how Muhammad Ali interacted with other people. But I'll digress on that too. Let's continue.
Philosophy of Islam is a philosophy that breathes life into the people.
Yeah, okay.
And it does not wish death upon the people.
What do you think of Joe Biden? What do you think of Donald Trump? Who do you want to win the election this year?
I don't care anymore. I voted for Joe Biden. I have a relative that was murdered in the West Bank. 37 years old, leaves 8 children behind. Okay? If I were to sign the ballot to put Biden into power, the ink that I would use to sign that ballot would be through the blood of Randa Ajaj, my relative. And I will not accept that for myself. And my goal with my vote is to tie the crime to the criminal. Joe Biden is a criminal, and I don't care who wins. Even if Trump wins, I don't care. Let him win. I want Joe Biden to know when he suffers on that night, knowing that he lost the election like the loser that he is, like the bloodthirsty, maniacal murderer that he is. People are limiting it by saying, what will you do come November? What happened in this genocide against Palestinians is going to be the center focus of our political engagement for the rest of our lives. We will...
Hold on, sorry, I didn't mean to cut it. Here we go.
Never forget it. And we will make sure anybody who did not sign on to ceasefire resolutions will pay the price with this.
What do you mean by that?
They will lose their power. We will get them out of office.
The toughest moment in the...
Okay, now I'm going to leave it at that because there's a lot more. You have to pay attention to the way these people talk. I picked up on so many things. I mean, if I had to do a reaction on just this one video alone, we'll be here for an hour and a half. Okay? If you guys want me to do that, leave all your comments. Let me know. I'll dedicate some time and make the video and put it back out. But you have to understand where these people are coming from, especially that man. He's the imam. Right now he's upset with Joe Biden. Okay? When Donald Trump comes in, if they don't see things 100% going for the Muslim community, he'll say the same thing about Donald Trump. It doesn't matter. Okay? When he says that we can't control who's going to be the next president, but we can vote out the current president, that's what they'll keep doing until they get what they want. They'll have enough people in power, and then what we're going to have in America is what's going on in Britain, okay, in the UK. What's going on there, this is not something that happened overnight. This is something that happened slowly and methodically until they had enough people to get into politics, to start taking over branches of the political system. And now if you look at the crime done by all these Islamist Muslims, Muslim Islamists, whatever you want to call them, in the UK, it's getting to the point that Jewish people in the UK are being arrested for protesting against Palestinians and Muslims, but Muslims are attacking people at an alarming rate, and they're all open investigations. No one's being arrested. You don't believe me? Go to Maya Tusi TV. He's on the ground, if anybody knows him. He is boots on the ground in the UK, in Britain. Okay? There is a crazy, crazy major shift. I'm just going to add two quick things to it. I seen the parade, the Pride Parade that they threw a couple of days ago in some part of California. Okay? That the mayor of this town in California is saying that he was so happy that families were there with their children. They showed nothing but men in thong underwear on a fire truck in the middle of the parade. I mean, it's a freak show, and all these kids running around. They were happy with that. To celebrate D-Day in Britain, there's this one strip where they have a lot of processions and they'll decorate it. Instead of the mayor or governor or whatever it is in Britain putting up flags to honor the soldiers, no, they lined the whole streets with nothing but gay pride flags. Do you see what's going on, people? The Western world is being attacked from within by groups that want to destroy, one, Christianity, and the countries as they are. Okay? Now, some people may say, but that makes no sense, because Muslims are not for the gay community. That's true. But you have to look at it like the game of Risk. Armies get together. In other words, look at the phrase. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And then you get rid of one faction. You'll have 4 factions. 3 will combine, get rid of one. Those 3 will combine, get rid of the other one. Then there's only 2, and then they got to fight it off until there's 1. So don't think for a hot minute, okay, that the Muslim community will not join forces just to further their agenda. Okay? It's not about furthering a united agenda. No, it's like, yeah, we'll unite until we start picking everybody off. Every person that's against us, one at a time. Every person that we do not agree with, one at a time, until there's only one. Okay? So with that being said, and I have some more things I want to add to that, I'm going to show the news clip where I seen this information. Here we go.
Special reports from GB News' US correspondent Stephen Edgington on America's only Muslim-dominated city. Hamtramck is in Michigan, has radically transformed with bans on LGBT flags, animal sacrifice laws, and the call to prayer. And here's a taste of that exclusive report.
Islam is America's last hope.
What happens when Muslims take over an American city?
Everywhere where these radical Islamists have touched, what you get is chaos. You get violence. You get the subjugation of women.
So you don't...
Okay, it's a little more than what I just already showed you, but what I wanted to point out, that one part when the guy was at the podium and supposedly there was only one person screaming out death to America, here's my thing. The other guy, the imam, came out and said, well, that was just one person. Okay, that's true. Why didn't the guy at the podium condemn that right there while he was on the podium? Why didn't he get up and say, no, that's not how it is? No, he didn't. He put his head down and he let him say what he had to say. Because that's exactly what these Islamists are thinking. It's not just death to America. It's death to the Western world. They'll say death to Britain. They'll say death to this one, death to that one. I mean, look at what's going on in Ireland. The Irish people are fed up. They are fighting back. There was a big rally in Britain, okay, where the British people got together and they were just like, no. As a matter of fact, they basically had almost a pro-Trump rally saying that Trump needs to come back into the White House in order to start balancing things out so other leaders around the world can start, I guess for lack of a better term, get their balls back and start saying, no, this is not what we want. This is why it's working in Poland and Hungary, because those presidents, those people that are in charge are like, we do not want, number one, the occupation of the Islamists in our countries. We do not want the crime. We do not want the transgenderism. We do not want any of these things that, number one, are going to take away Christianity, destroy the country from within, break up the nuclear family. We don't want that. Okay? And I know some people are going to say, oh, that sounds like hate talk. No, it's not. What it is someone wanting to preserve his way of life. That's someone being me. I want to preserve my way of life. I want to preserve the way of life that is right, that is good. But when you have infiltration, occupations coming in, you'll get what you get. Like what's going on in Britain. Even though people are starting to fight back, which is good, it's the way it should be. My thing is this, and I'll play the tape again. I'll continue with the tape, with the video. And I've been saying it for the longest, even to the point of having arguments with friends. Every single time there was some Islamist in America attacking, or whenever something happens where there's Muslims involved that are hurting others, with all these people in America, in Michigan, all these Muslim communities, these Islamists, where are they protesting for that? You won't see it. Because I haven't seen it. I've looked. You won't see it. Because they don't care. But sure as shit, they'll be in that rally, in that protest, okay, for Palestine. But let's continue.
Do you think there's any issue in getting a 7-year-old to wear that kind of dress?
Well, I don't think it's really a bad thing.
It's an astonishing piece of journalism. I'm delighted to be joined now by Stephen Edgington, who put that together for GB News. Steve, welcome to the show. I watched this last night. My jaw was on the floor when I watched it. Please tell us about this town and how it's radically changed in such a short period of time.
In 2021, Hamtramck in Michigan elected a fully Muslim council, the first in the United States. Also, they have a Muslim mayor.
Did you guys hear that? In 2021, they were able to put together the first Muslim council, coupled with the fact that they're backed up by a Muslim mayor. This is in a city in America. And check this out. Listen to what else he says. I'm gonna go back just a little bit. Listen to what he says.
first in the United States. Also, they have a Muslim mayor. And since that time, as you rightly mentioned, they've passed a series of very controversial laws. And that's why I went to this town to find out how Muslims have transformed this American city. It used to be a Polish-dominated town, Polish-American-dominated town, and now it has become a Muslim-majority place. And what they've done is they've passed laws in favor of animal sacrifice in residential properties, including in people's backyards. One person we talked to found a goat carcass in her rubbish bin one day randomly. Furthermore, they have introduced a ban on LGBT flags flying from government buildings, which has angered many of the local liberal left-wing population who say that LGBT people no longer feel safe in Hamtramck. And we've also seen the rise of women wearing burqas. And many residents, locals, said to us that there are some concerns around the subjugation of women, particularly their social role in the family and their sort of subservience to men. So I think the town has transformed hugely in recent years. And to add to this, just down the road in Dearborn, which is a few miles away, recently there was a Muslim rally to do with Palestine where people were chanting "Death to America." So some very controversial issues going on in America at the moment. It's not just in the UK. There's been a huge amount of immigration from Muslim countries to the US as well.
And Steve, in this incredible piece of work, you talk there, we can see on the screen, with an imam, and you put his own social media posts to him. You verbatim just put what he put out about his anti-Semitic comments, and he starts calling you an Islamophobe. He starts denying it. And I was also struck, Steve, by a culture of fear amongst the residents in the town. They're afraid to speak out about this.
I think that's probably right. Some people were afraid to speak to us about this very controversial issue. I did interview various imams, and as you say, I quoted some of their tweets and so on. One of them retweeted something about all Muslims spitting on Israel, meaning that they would drown. I thought that was quite controversial. The particular imam that you were referring to in that clip, he has very close links with the Iranian regime. He is friends, he admits this personally and openly, that he has been friends with previous Iranian presidents and Iranian ayatollahs. Now, what people have to remember is Iran is responsible for funding Hezbollah, a terrorist organization. It persecutes women if they don't wear the niqab or the hijab through lashes. They literally lash them on the back for this crime. And they're also responsible for locking up political prisoners and for torturing prisoners. So for this man to openly admit that he is friends with the Ayatollahs, friends with these presidents, I think is very controversial. And it just shows how radical Islam is spreading across the United States. And it's a real concern.
And Steve, you're doing fabulous work out in America. Please tell us, where can GB News find this documentary to watch?
They can go to the GB News YouTube channel and they can see it there. They can watch the full thing, 35 minutes long.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. I put a link in the description so you guys can watch the whole thing. You know, when Trump was president, there was a civil war breaking out in Iran where people were fed up with the mullahs and all that. And when Trump, they were actually chanting for America to help. When Trump put his thoughts into it, his 2 cents into it, and came out and said that he stands with those people, that are, for the revolutionaries because they want to change. He was vilified. When Obama was president, he catered to the mullahs, sent them billions of dollars. Biden became president, he's doing the same thing. And yet, look at the people that have infiltrated American cities, the communities. They have ties with those Iranians, those mullahs, those people in charge that want death to America. Okay? People say, well, look at what America has done. It's not about look at what America has done. Okay? The Muslim nation is not innocent by any stretch of the mind. Lest people forget when the Moors attacked Spain, when they had the Muslim Crusades. I mean, let's not be fucking stupid here. Okay? They are some of the most barbaric infiltrators in history. Until this day. They'll go after their own and anybody else. And I'm not saying that all people from the Middle East are like that. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when you have an extremist portion of a society, those are the ones that you have to fear. Those are the ones putting fear. And how ironic that they're putting fear into the gay community in Michigan, and yet you don't see the gay community or the leftists going after them. No, they'll go after Trump and his supporters, after the Christians, but they won't go after the Muslims. See how that works? You'll have queers for Palestine, but yet you'll see, you heard it from him and you'll see it in the video of how the gay community in those parts of Michigan are afraid. But you won't see that on the news. You'll see the rise of homophobia from the Christian community. You'll never hear the rise of homophobia from coming from the Muslim community. You won't see that on the news. You won't see Joy Reid talking about that, or The View talking about that, or Biden talking about that. No. Let's just attack Christianity. Let's attack the people on the right. Let's attack Trump and his supporters. They're the threat to democracy. Really. So where's the threat to democracy, to democracy, your so-called democracy in Michigan? Because I see it. But I'll be honest, I thought this was just in Dearborn. I didn't know about this other place. But look how fast it's grown. In 2 years, 2.5 years, they were able to oust whoever was there in power and make a whole Muslim organization, political organization. You know, I don't know if it was there or it was later on in the video. Like I said, you got to watch it. There's this one, I don't know if he's a shopkeeper or something. He seems American. I think he's American black. Obviously a leftist. He's got the nose ring and all that. And this reporter asked him, what do you know, how do you feel when they say about death to America? He goes, I think it's awesome. You think it's awesome? Who do you think is next, you moron? You think it's awesome. Do you actually think the Muslim community is going to keep letting you walk around with a ring in your nose when they feel they're done getting rid of their enemies? Remember, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that will keep going on and on and on until there's only one. That's just how it is. It's not like the Muslim community is banding with the Christian community saying, we're all going to stand against all this. Some of them say it. We're going to stand against the indoctrination of children. Okay, great. That's for now. We eradicate that, then what? Who's next? You know, Christians, no offense towards anybody, but Christians, a lot of Christians have been very complacent, very scared to not want to speak truth. Speaking truth doesn't mean that you hate someone. Like me, I'm saying all this, I don't hate Muslims. I don't hate human beings. But what I don't want is for you to come in with your ideology, and at some point, maybe not now, maybe in the future, that you'll go and you'll try to eradicate Christian belief. And shame on me if I did nothing now to basically throw a monkey wrench in your system to stand up for what's right and what's true. God is the only way. The Lord Jesus Christ is the only way. You can believe in whatever you want to believe in, but I will not sit by idly and complacent and pretend like, well, it's their belief, you know, they have every right. Yeah, they do have every right. But don't dare try to infiltrate. And that's what's going on in America. You know, they'll say that, oh, America was never a Christian nation. Those same people will not dare go to a Muslim nation with their beliefs. They'll bitch and moan and holler and scream here because too many people are complacent. You know? And if they can do that in just 2.5 years in Michigan, just imagine how it will explode if there's another Democrat in the White House. Because they're not going to slow down. You already see how they're taking over little by little, and actually at this point, a lot by a lot. And what are people supposed to do? Just before I end this, and I know it's a little long, I had a friend tell me one time, he asked me a question. Very smart man. He said, do you know what constitutes a city? And I said, no. He said, a cathedral. I said, what do you mean? He said, when a cathedral is set up, that constitutes to make the area a city. I never really looked into it. Maybe I should. But I was like, okay. I look around and I see all these mosques going up. Those are cathedrals to the Muslims. Don't kid yourself when they keep building them saying, well, it's because we don't have enough and some people live far. That's one of their best excuses. We have people that live on the outskirts and they can't travel that far, so we need to build another one closer. No, they're setting up, okay, basically like their cathedrals. They're setting up their religious points, okay, basically planting their flags. When I was playing the video that it showed a mosque and it showed the American flag in front of it, how long before that American flag comes down and it's some sort of Muslim flag waving in the air in America? Think about that. Think about that. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around, give it a thumbs up. If you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store, TrueOutlaw.Patriot.com. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, keep praying for the children, keep praying for this country, pray for Donald Trump, and don't be complacent. Peace.